Stuck in the Middle. This is your girl, Adele Clarice. Shout out to Stuck in the Middle podcast. We love you guys.
General, I feel like I'm stuck in the middle.
Stuck in the Middle podcast. Big shout out to the family. I'm talking Reflex, AK, Achuri, and the rest of the gang. Hey, make sure you bring all your important information, your art, everything in the DMV. Doesn't matter where you are at. Come to the DMV to Stuck in the Middle podcast. That's where it's at.
This is Stuck in the Middle podcast, a platform for entrepreneurs, innovators, and creators of African descent. Here's stories, ideas, experiences, and advice on breaking barriers. I am your host, Uncle AK. Thank you to all returning listeners and watchers. If this is your first time checking out this podcast, please do us a favor, man. Hit that subscribe button, for future ringer notifications. Don't miss any episode that we release. Sir Charles Tutu, Reflex, I've been doing a phenomenal job at this. I'm just here substituting for Reflex. So we have a very special guest on the Zoom call with us today. For those of you who wear wigs, who take you on the go, in the crib, whichever, wig is your thing. You do know the hardest thing about, having that wig is figuring out, how to store it or how to, carry it to go and wear it, without it being twisted or whichever. Our guest today plays a huge factor in making your life easier, in making you not carrying that big, giant, white styrofoam thing around the world. This one's actually, broken down version of it. You could pack that in a suitcase, your handbag, whichever, probably put in your pocket, if you got bigger pockets, who knows? But her and her company, her and her co-founders discovered the Strand Stand, an inflatable wig stand that is easy to pack in a suitcase and carry on the go. Please welcome Maximilienne Mbinack to Stuck in the Middle podcast. I hope I didn't butcher your name.
No, you got it. You got it right. Thank you so much for having me.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you. And yourself?
I'm wonderful. I can't complain. A little bit nervous, but I'm wonderful.
We're in the same boat, so it's okay.
Man, let the people know who Maxi is. It's okay if I call you Maxi, right?
Yes.
All right, cool. Let the people know it's Maxi.
Perfect. So hello, everyone. My name is Maximilienne Mbinack. Everyone calls me Maxi for short, Max. Whatever your variation is, I'll probably answer and then correct you. I am born and raised in the DC or the DMV area from Maryland. And I am also Cameroonian by parents. So yeah.
Oh, nice. 237 the building. Let's go. Listen, talk to us a little bit about, your educational background, where you were born. I mean, you were born here of Cameroonian parents, but talk to us a bit about your education. In a few minutes, you will talk to us about Wig Wear. That's a company that you co-founded with, some of your good friends. So prior to that, just talk to us about, your background, your education, all that good stuff.
Right. Yes. So I born and raised in Silver Spring, Maryland. My obvious choice to go to school would obviously be Howard University, which was a little down the road. So HU, So went to school for physical therapy. So graduated in about 2009. But what I want to say drove me to eventually begin wig wear in the first place is that I was the the resident hairstylist in undergrad. So if you know my background, this also just makes sense, right? Obviously, It's been years since I've graduated. I'm not going to tell my age, but it all makes sense when I think about it in its entirety.
So let me get this straight. You do hair as well? We do create wigs, all that good stuff?
I don't do hair professionally. I do my hair. And if, a friend asks, I definitely will, do my thing. But not professionally, I don't do hair. But I just felt like Growing up, I was always in people's hair, whether it was flat ironing, doing their natural hairstyles, trying out twists. I figured, let me just try and see what happens. So I saved a lot of money, figuring it out by myself. But obviously, I definitely trust professionals.
Speaking of saving money, right? You are the co-founder of Wigwear. Yes. For those who don't know what Wigwear is, I didn't know what Wigwear is. I just did my research, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. I like the concept. First things first, how did this concept come about? What is Wigwear? How did the concept come about? When was it birthed? What year did you start it? And then let's go from there.
Okay. So background, me and my friends and I, like to travel. And out of all my friends, I am apparently the slow one, right? That's what they know me for. So this trip, we were headed to Greece, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to be that friend on this trip. I'm going to have everything together so they can't blame me for it taking a long time, right? So I was going to have my wigs ready. I was going to have my outfits ready to match. And so I just be really organized. And I was going to also bring my wig head with me so that I can style different wigs while I'm not wearing them. So I can just have them prepped and ready to go, right? So we're headed on this trip and we're preparing. And my friend tells me, hey, you might want to make sure that you pack light. And I'm like, bring that back. What do you mean pack light? I knew that I was going to have this really big suitcase so that I can pack all of the necessities, right? And now she's saying, she's throwing a wrench, in my plans, because she's saying pack light, because when we're going to Greece, you're going to be the one who's picking up your suitcase on and off these different ferries as we're going to the different islands. We're going to be in, Santorini for 2 days, another island for 2 days, another island for 2 days. So they're like, pack light. And I'm like, yeah, I have to go back to the drawing board on this. But in that, I literally just leaned over to my friend who is an entrepreneur by spirit. So I literally just leaned into her and I said, if I could just create an inflatable wig head for travel, that would be dope. And I just literally saw her eyes light up. It was like a light bulb went off in her head and she's like, I think you can do it. I think you have something here. And I was like, really? And she assured me that she thinks it's possible. And so that's when our minds started thinking about how we could actually bring this to fruition. But the thing is that fear is a real thing.
Yeah, fear is a real thing for sure.
Yeah. So that trip actually happened in 2019. And as we came back on our trip, she, began to tell her sister about it, who was actually one of the other co-founders. So it's my friend Melanie, and then her sister Aisha, who then became the co-founders of Wigwear. So again, that trip was April 2019, and then it actually took some months for us to say, okay, we're going to get this started. But again, it was fear because I've never done this before. I am a traditional 9-to-5 girl. I have no entrepreneurial spirit in my bones. So I thought of all the ways that this would not make sense for us to do. Something already exists out there, right? And when I thought about it, it was only Melanie and Aisha who convinced me we can do this. There's a market for it. We're solving a problem. And so we need to get started and we need to get the ball rolling. So after that, came together on what this would look like.
That was pretty dope, man. Like, you sure do need friends like that around you, the ones that will, pick you up when you want to fall down, deliberately want to fall down, let me say, you know what I mean? Especially, in this business world where it's easy, to, for an idea to come and go, right? You need those people around you to kind of say, hey, I think you want to do something. Let's go grab this. Let's chase this. So yeah, that's pretty dope. And you mentioned that, you got the inflatable stand. Is that the Strand Stand?
Yes, I have it right here. This is the Strand Stand. So,
oh man, talk to us about that.
Yeah, so This design came after a lot of trial and error because, as you know, when we decided to do this in 2019, we didn't have a design in mind, or we had varying ideas about what this would look like. It was trial and error, especially going back and forth with the manufacturer to what it would look like. Did they have the materials that we wanted? We tried out different surfaces, but we also had to make sure that it made sense to us because we're going to be utilizing it. But it also had to make sense to the to wig wearers or wig enthusiasts all around the world, right? So we wanted the product to not just we wanted it to be multi-use product, right? So it can fit on a flat surface, varying flat surfaces, granite, glass, metal, and you can also break it down so that it fits in a carry-on bag, which I have somewhere around here. But it can literally fit in a carry-on or tote. So one, we want it to be travel friendly. We wanted it to be compact. This head also deflates, right? So you can put it in a carry-on or tote and it fits there pretty easily. It's not bulky at all like the traditional wig heads that you see in the market now. And also with this faux suede or vegan suede, as you like to call it, surface, the wigs don't slip off easily, right? Because if this was made from a different type of material, the wigs would slip off really easily and you wouldn't be able to style on it effectively.
Gotcha.
So this is our first product of wig wear, which is the company. So it's the Strand Stand.
You know what that reminds me of?
What?
That reminds me of the thing boxes, the train on the upside down and just keep going and going. So did you have a little bit of that? Did you have a little bit of that thought in mind as you were designing this?
We went through different types of iterations, right? So I'm gonna tell you this, but in my mind, I was first thinking like a beach ball like material, but obviously you think of heat and you think of beach balls and you think of it's going to deflate immediately. So just imagine from that, we came to this decision to go with this prototype. So yeah, they had a lot of minds.
That sounds a little bit draining in terms of trying to figure out what material to use, what vendor to use. Can you speak a little bit about, that process, right? From that beach ball to this final product that you have right now? I'm pretty sure, there's been a lot of, prototypes to this final product and a lot of frustrations as well, within being that there are three heads, trying to come up with this one final product. Speak to us about that process, right? From that beach volleyball to this again, and how you guys managed to, come up with this final product, being that there are three heads and, you guys can bump heads at your time. Speak about that.
Yes. So let me just go back a little bit and talk about the other co-founders. So one, Melanie, is my friend since undergrad. She also went to Howard University, and her sister, Aisha, who is in tech and also went to an HBCU as well. They are sisters and they have the entrepreneurial spirit by nature, I'll say. So their background, their mother had a brick and mortar store back in Houston, where, if you are of African or Caribbean descent like they are, that if your parents have a store of some sort, then the children are automatic employees of that store. So with that being said, they were the ones who were, doing inventory management, creating the website, all of the things that make the store go round, right? So, and Melanie and Aisha have various different businesses. So when I mentioned that to Melanie, it just was another way for her to see. She saw that idea and she was like, this can actually happen, right? Whereas I doubted it. So that being said, when we came up with, first we had to think about what this would look like. So imagine three different heads coming together, and Melanie's also in health, but she's also in tech. and Aisha's also in tech. So just imagine 3 different types of minds coming together on what this should look like. We've thrown out multiple pieces of paper on that doesn't work. So we even tried to build it from scratch, and it was hard because a lot of these materials are not sold separately, if that makes any sense. So then thinking about trying to find a manufacturer who actually had this product or could build it, I just saw money flying out. I just saw big dollar signs, of which, we're still funding this out of our pockets as of right now, but we see that it's going to grow into much more later on. So we decided that we had to go with things that already existed, right? So that kind of narrowed it down onto what we were thinking about strategically on how to make this live, what would be best use, what manufacturers actually had these materials, and had the raw materials on what the texture would look like, and who could basically carry out the design that we had proposed.
Gotcha. You see, there's a lot, well, when you go on AliExpress, right, there's a lot of hair vendors, a lot of, tech stuff that are a lot cheaper than, what is being offered here in the US, right? You see a lot of people now buying stuff directly from China for lesser price. Is this something, well, do you have competition to this product? I really don't know anything about wigs. I don't, I would normally like crack jokes if I see, a wig and stuff. I always have a joke to crack when I see a wig. So this
you always have jokes about wigs?
I always have a joke about a wig, man. When I see one, I always have something to say about it, especially how it just hangs on the thing. I don't know why, but nothing personal to the, to the holder or the interview or,
no worries.
Wig or whichever.
Wigs are life. No.
They're probably off, for those who are rocking. But
men wear wigs too, by the way. I just want to let you know that.
Oh yeah, Steve Harvey, for example. I remember when he used to.
Steve Harvey, but there are a lot more men who are wearing wigs than you don't know. So I want to put that out there.
Well, okay. Yeah.
Are you sure that's not a wig?
Nah, these waves would not pop up like this is a wig,
They would. I'm gonna send you.
Are you sure?
Some links. Yes.
Oh man. Well, what about like beard?
Absolutely. But think about it. Think about actors who have to evolve into these different roles where they're not using their, maybe an actor doesn't have facial hair, and all of a sudden in this role, he has a full beard and has a completely different hairline.
Right.
So these things exist. So
right.
Yeah.
Man, I need to put one of my, my guy friends on the facial hair, wig, but
you want to change up your look?
You know what I'm saying? Not to go too far off the rails. Talk to us about competition. What competition do you face with this product emerging into this market? Of course, there was a need for this product, right? But was there somebody who was doing this? And if you did do your research and found out there was somebody doing this, what is it that you're doing different than your competitors?
Okay. So we already talked about there were wig heads on the market already, but we saw that they were not doing what we were doing, right? Mm-hmm. So the traditional wig heads are either bulky and they're heavy. They also come with a tripod, so it doesn't make it easy to travel with, right? You can, if you're going, from point A to, maybe a friend's house, short drive, sure, you can go ahead and pick that and take that if you'd like. Or if you're traveling with a big suitcase, sure, if you want to put that in your suitcase. But the reality is that you only have about 50 pounds. Right. So just thinking about traveling with that, that's going to take up a lot of space and a lot of weight as well. Then you have wig heads that are pretty flimsy and just for standing purposes only. You can't really style on that. So good for maybe just showcasing wigs that aren't doing anything, but again, didn't fit our need. So we wanted to incorporate a lot of those different factors into our product. We also see that there's styrofoam heads on the market as well. But one, they are not aesthetically pleasing. You know, after having one for a few months, you can see that it starts to look a little, crazy and a little scary, especially if someone comes into your restroom and they see it, they might scream.
Some people use it to hang their underwears. Please, ladies, stop that nonsense.
Wait a minute.
They hang like they put like pins, like needles on it, and then just hang their underwears to hang.
That is not true.
That
is not true.
Okay, well, I'm telling you what I said.
I learn new things every day.
Yeah.
But in the creation of the Strand Stand, I talked about it needed to be a multi-use product, right? So not only can you style your wigs on the go, but you can also store your wigs. Once you're finished wearing it on your head, you can put it on here, put it on the flat surface, and it keeps your styles lasting longer. So you are essentially saving your time. One, because if I had to style my wig on my own head, I'm like twisting, I'm bending all over, trying to get to the back and all of that. But the reality is that when it's on the Strand Stand, it's right in front of you. So you can get to every piece, simply, right?
Do wigs get twisted? Like, do they get twisted? Like clothes, stuff like that?
Absolutely. You go to a concert, you're sweating, your curls drop. Hair is just, wigs are similar to your own natural hair, or if you wear synthetic wigs or human hair wigs, same thing. You're twisting and turning, you're wearing clothes that could bend that style. And so at the end of the night, you want to comb those knots out, comb your curls out and start all over, right? But just laying it on the bed or laying it on a sharp corner somewhere, that's not going to preserve your style, right? So why not just put it on a surface that resembles your head shape, right? So that the next day you're like, whew, I'm not starting from 0 anymore. I'm starting from 10 because my curls are still here. My curls are still preserved. I'm good to go. I'm leaving the house faster than I would if I had to start from a blank slate again, right? Mm-hmm. And then everyone's not a hairstylist, right? Where they can put a wig on their heads and they can reach the pieces in the back, right? So we're trying to cut out all of those problems, and you can put it on the Strand Stand and get to styling, right? You watch your YouTube videos and you're good to go, right? You can try out all the styles.
Listen, you make it sound.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, you make it sound so beautiful, and I just want to, run outside and go captain one. But
you should.
But listen,
because you have friends, you have female friends, you have family members. It's also a great gift.
For how much? Let the people know how much, please.
Yeah. So, one, we are available on our website, which is mywigwear.com. But we're also available on Amazon as well. So if you have, free 2-day shipping, you should definitely look us up. But the Strand Stand, this is the standard, and it is $45.99. And then we have the XL, which has a longer spring, and that is $49.99. And we have additional add-on pieces that are available for an additional price. So if you don't have like a flat surface, we have different pieces that you can purchase where you can screw it onto a flat surface.
I see you've been taking notes from Apple's, marketing strategy.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, see what you did there.
We're trying.
Don't give it to all at once. Don't give it to them all at once. Let's just give them pieces.
Right.
Yeah. I love it. You mentioned earlier that this is self-funded, right? Do you guys have a team other than the co-founders? Do you have a team?
Do we have a team other than the co-founders?
Yeah.
Right now, it's us. Like I told you, Melanie, she created the website. Mm-hmm. Aisha did the scouring of, the internets and doing her research. And we all did the research in regards to what manufacturers we're going to pick. the money that has funded the Strand Stand and wig wear is from our pockets. So we're always looking for different grants, but we're not at the point where we have investors, but the team is us as of right now.
Are you guys seeing any profits yet?
We are seeing profits, but we hope that in the next year, once travel, definitely picks up more, and what other factors? Travel picks up more, we're able to get more eyes on the product itself and more awareness about what it does. Then we hope to be making obviously more of a profit.
Yeah, when I hope this summer comes when people really get outside,
honestly,
and their wigs start getting sweaty, from the sun and stuff. They're gonna rush to wig wear to buy a Strand Stand, Yeah. All right, let's get into this product. Let's talk about a product a little bit. I like playing with new gadgets, but since I don't have one with me, I might as well talk you through playing with this gadget.
Okay, I should have sent you one.
You should have, but I mean, you could always send me one. I'm not going to deny it. I can always display it here. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's fine.
I'll shoot you the address after this.
Got you.
Appreciate that. Is this stand, like, how once you've inflated it, right? How long does it last for?
Oh, so do you mind if I grab
Go ahead.
something really quickly? Okay. All right, so I'm just going to show you the different pieces that come with the Strand Stand. All of the contents fit in a nylon bag like this, right? Mm-hmm. No one has to know what the contents in this bag are. We have the pump right here, where the needle is stored right here for safekeeping. So you simply just pop it out, you screw it here. And
I really see that your beach volleyball idea in place.
Imagine, yeah. And there's like a little nozzle here that you just stick this into, and then you just pump, okay? Without it, this is how it deflates. So you can hear that noise deflating as we speak, right? So you can actually see it losing its shape right now.
Okay.
Once I take it out, it stops. So as long as this needle doesn't touch this, the Strand Stand remains inflated as long as you'd like. So it's up to the consumer to decide, you know what, I want to store it. And so that's when they would go ahead and put the needle into the nozzle and allow it to deflate. And that's it.
Is it washable?
It's not washable. Because it's faux suede, you can probably get a dish rag with a little bit of, I'll say water, and maybe just wipe lightly, but no washing.
Please, if your wig is sweaty, don't use it for more than 2 months, I beg you. It's not wash and wear. Dispose of it and get a new one.
The wig or the Strand Stand?
No, the Strand Stand. I'm talking about the Strand Stand.
No.
They should keep their wig, dispose of the dirty Strand Stand, get a new one for their wigs.
No, the Strand Stand, it's multi-use. You can use it as many times as you need to. The thing is that people are washing their wigs, right? So you wear it for a month, or you wear it on and off for however long you decide to wear it. You just place it on the Strand Stand. So you're not making wigs on this. Please, people, do not make wigs on this. This is just for styling your wigs and for storing your wigs when you're not wearing it, right? So the wigs are clean, so they're fine. So do not need to dispose of the Strand Stand, but if you'd like to get multiple because you have multiple wigs, that we do encourage.
Gotcha. You see a lot of celebrities, picking on, Black entrepreneurs, or let's just entrepreneurs in general, to promote their brands, or even brands themselves find different streams of marketing, be it Instagram, Facebook. How have you guys been able to market this? Do you guys have somebody, the face of Wigs Stand? Who's the face of Wigs Stand? An ambassador? How you guys, and then also too, are you guys in any beauty supplies, out there?
Yes, so we heavily use Instagram and Facebook ads to increase the visibility. We're also utilizing influencers from Instagram and TikTok. One of our largest markets that we have is the alopecia market and breast cancer market as well, because as you know, if you have breast cancer, maybe you're going through rounds of chemotherapy, you lose your hair, or there's frequent hair loss. And so their alternatives is to wear wigs if they choose. And alopecia, that is also a hair loss in men and women that they experience, and that is medical hair loss. So, you know, their alternative is to also wear wigs as well. And so they're one of our largest markets. So we get influencers in those different arenas, and they make videos of how they use their strand stands on a day-to-day basis. Gotcha. But it's also marketed towards stylists and then the everyday wig wearer, right? Because it's an easy process. But for wig stylists, maybe they're going to a shoot, right? Maybe their muse isn't there yet. They can put the wigs on the head and they can start to style it before the muse or the model even gets to the shoot, right? So they're saving time again. It's also useful for on set as well. So we just have a large market that we just need to tap in and get into.
Yeah. Another market that, you know, that needs to get into this, not you guys getting into it, is for you men who, you know, like women come into your places, get you one for yourself so that when your ladies come, you don't have to fold their wigs and put in their bags. They can just hang it there and then you guys, you know, Netflix and chill or what have you, that you guys know what to do. You know, read the Bible together, who knows? But anyways.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea, because you know what's going to happen is the woman's going to be like, oh my goodness, you're so thoughtful. Yeah. And then immediate bag. So that's it. Yeah. You're smart.
Hey, but just don't cause trouble in your households for those of. Anyways, listen. Yeah, is there anything you would like for the audience to know that I haven't asked or haven't covered so far?
Let's see. I mentioned that the Strand Stand is available on our website, and we're also on Amazon. I want to say thank you to you guys because, you know, you guys are doing a great thing, you know, highlighting, you know, different businesses in, I want to say predominantly in the DC area, but essentially all around the world. And so I appreciate what you guys are doing. And, you know, we're trying to make a difference. We're trying to make, you know, the life of wig wearers easy. So you guys are giving us more eyes on our product. So again, we appreciate what you guys are doing.
Yeah, so listen, with everything said and done, right? 3 questions for you. How have you been able to manage this and your 9-to-5? I'm assuming you haven't quit your 9-to-5 yet.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, have you been able to manage both of them? I'll let you answer that first.
Yeah, I think what's great is that I don't have to handle everything by myself. Having 2 other co-founders has been amazing. We know our strengths, and so where it's something that I may not be able to do, or if I may not be able to post content on social media for a specific day, I can reach out to my co-founders and, you know, one of them can pick that up. If it's getting orders out, you know, we're all helping each other. So it's just the fact that I have 2 other co-founders to help in that, and we come together to talk about, you know, how do we push wigwear forward? What, you know, business development, how do we bring other products into the company, and how do we think they're going to do? Honestly, it's just trying to balance my time. Sometimes, you know, I probably go to sleep and I'm thinking about wigwear. Then the next part of the dream is about tasks that I probably didn't finish for work. I hope nobody from my company watches it. But it's a daily thing. But the fact that this is a passion of mine. When I told you, you know, back in the day, I was, you know, the hairstylist in undergrad. So just this coming to fruition has been, to me, it makes sense for me, because it wouldn't have been anything else that would have gotten me to focus on one, a 9-to-5 and a business as well. So
definitely.
Yeah.
Are there any other products down the pipelines?
In the pipeline, yes. But for right now, what we had launched, I want to say, most recently it's this clamp. It's called a C clamp. So instead of this flat suction, you can have this, and it interchanges pretty easily. So that if you don't have a flat surface, you can just affix this to the ledge and you can tighten it, right? So we're like, you know what? You don't have a flat surface? That's fine. We got this for you as well. But we do have some products that are coming out the pipeline, some new updates. We want to make sure that when you get the Strand Stand, you can easily determine, what is the front from the back. So those are things that, when you have the first prototype, you don't necessarily think of, because you're like, you know what, I want to get out a product that is of quality. But as you come up with different models, you want to make some changes and some updates. So,
do they come in different sizes? And are those sizes and do those different sizes have different prices as well?
Yeah. So this is the standard. The head is a 22-inch circumference, and this spring is 5 inches. So this is the standard. But the XL has a 7-inch spring, so it's a little taller. But other than that, the circumference of the head does stay the same.
Not only is the head round and fat, it's also tall as well. Wow. Okay. JK. Listen, it's been wonderful chatting with you about wig wear. I've learned quite a few things about wigs, and most of all, laughed my way through it too as well. I encourage everybody out there who wears wigs to visit Wig Wear. Even if you're not going to buy it, but at least just visit it and see the beautiful pictures that you guys have displayed on on your website, and also read a little bit about your co-founders. Oh, by the way, how can people also connect with your co-founders if they want to connect with them?
So the co-founders, they are not as visible as I am. But if you want to connect with us on Instagram, we are at mywigwear on Instagram, and on TikTok, we are Wigwear. We're also on Facebook as well.
Gotcha. Hey, listen, man. Y'all heard her, man. Don't DM the co-founder. Don't look for them. This is the spokesperson right here. You talk to her and her alone and nothing else. You go through her or not at all. JK. But it was a pleasure talking to you, Maxi. Maybe, do I know anybody who wears wigs?
You know plenty of people who wear wigs.
That's true. Anyways, I got to find the ones that I love and see if I could give them this for, Christmas or their birthdays. Everybody gets a Strand Stand for their birthday. Yeah. Don't say I didn't love you. You just didn't want to come in. Yeah. But anyways, I'm still waiting for mine, by the way. I'll shoot you that address. So appreciate that. Man, listen, if you like what you heard, if you like what you watched, hit that subscribe button bottom, to get notifications, weekly notifications on recent episodes. This episode, what's next? Oh, yeah. Follow us on all social platforms at SitM Podcast. Our website is sitmpodcast.com. We are on all streaming platforms at SitM Podcast as well. Shout out to Reflex, shout out to Charles, Tutu, Ines, Choo Choo, Ma. Am I missing anybody? Yeah, there are people behind this team, man, making this thing, on a weekly basis. So shout out to you guys. And shout out to everybody out there watching, man. This was SitM Podcast. I'm your host, Uncle AK. My guest today is Maximilienne. Let me butcher your last name a little bit. Mbinack. And she is the co-founder of Wig Wear. We out, man.
This episode of the podcast is sponsored by our online store, SitMPodcast.com/store. You get hoodies, t-shirts, crew necks, all kind of incredible stuff. That's the machine that drives this show, that drives this brand. We appreciate every single one of y'all rocking with us. And definitely, if you want to, get in touch with us, sponsor us, send us an email, SitMPodcast237@gmail.com. We appreciate it. We can work something out.
Stuck in the Middle. This is your girl, Adele Clarice. Shout out to Stuck in the Middle podcast. We love you guys. Mwah.
General, I feel like I'm stuck in the middle.
Stuck in the Middle podcast. Big shout out to the family. I'm talking Reflex, AK, Achuri, and the rest of the gang. Hey, make sure you bring all your important information, your art, everything in the DMV. Doesn't matter where you are at. Come to the DMV to Stuck in the Middle podcast. That's where it's at.